Some people are made of plastic. You know, some people are made of wood. Some people have hearts of stone. Some people are up to no good. Oh man, I didn't even know I was recording. I'm supposed to start the show. Wait a second, let's get it going here. Ha ha! Who stole our culture?
Oh man, I'm supposed to be going to bed. I don't even know why I hit this record button, but I'm just feeling so jolly. Let's say it. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Lancescurv show.
I'm sitting here in a creative frenzy. I got like 18 screens up and I'm doing a technical thing. And this is when people really don't see what I do. They see the tree, but they don't see how deep the roots go. And so I'm deep in thought, and I'm just so inspired and so hyped at a time when most people are getting ready to go up and take their nightly in the middle of the night before the morning pee-pee. Sorry to say it that way, not trying to be lewd. So I said, well, let me share my energy and what I'm feeling right now. And it's not any one particular thing, but it's a point of view that hit me. I really am angry at the way things are right now in the world. How we have become unraveled as black people, African people, melanated people, copper-colored people the world over. We don't even realize it. This is not another we need to wake up, we need to come together video, because I'm through with that. I'm formulating my team of people who are awakened, not woke, but awakened, and who are willing to come together and put the money where their mouth is and just put the effort and the elbow grease and the sweat equity where their mouth is. We have too many people in our community just mouthing off, and they just want to be YouTube talking heads, but they're not actually doing anything. And people say, well, you do the same thing. Well, just watch and see what I do. Just watch and observe the ascension. There were people who said that I would never make it to the motherland, and it was just a visit. Yeah, not going back to live over there. But when they saw I was getting busy and being quiet, when they were leaving comments talking about, you don't even have a ticket. You don't know what you're going to do. Well, look, I'm here. Where are they? Shut up. I'm glad, but you're still peeking. I know that. And the people who are the fake friends and the fake people who try to, get stuff out of you and spread things and twist things around, and they get mad when they see that things are still going on. So we have identified those entities. But on a personal tip, I will keep on swinging and going no matter what happens around me to the day I transition. That being said, what the heck happened to our culture? I'm sitting here grooving on songs from back in the mid 70s, early 70s, 60s, and maybe a little bit of the 80s. You know what I mean? I was born on April 8th, 1963, and I remember I come from a musical family. So there were songs that were around from the 50s and 40s in the record collection that we had, and it passed on to me in my adolescence coming up. So, when you have songs, what's the name? Laverne Baker? Deet, 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 deet. Tweedly, tweedly, tweedly dee. Remember that song? I think it was from the 50s, right? But anyway, I come from a different world. I'm like a relic to many people, but I'm a breath of fresh air to others who realize and understand that we have a common background. And I'm always going to big up the past. I'm not living in the past, but, the present and the future is good, but, this is a GMO world that we're living in, and the culture has been hijacked. And this is one thing that I want to say why, culture to a people, and we're talking about all people now, but the particular culture of a people is like the thread that holds the suit or the dress together. If there's no thread, after a while, it may look like it's holding itself together, and this mosquito's flying around like I'm going to get them ankles because I know you ate good today. Get those veins. No, you're not. I'm waiting for you to come over here. But the culture is like thread that holds your dress or your suit together. You try to walk around with no thread holding things together. After a while, unless you're an exhibitionist and enjoy showing yourself, you're going to be butt behind naked, and the world will see you for who you are, and you'll be naked and all the clothes will fall off. Well, culture is that thread that holds us together. And that's the first thing that they have learned to attack about us. Back in, and Jews have always been, not always, but they were there, but they have intensified their attack on our culture and taken over things and turning our culture, or what comes from our soul so freely and with each other, into a business, and they use it against us, and we don't even realize it. We don't even realize it. I mean, come on, back in the day, for those who can remember, you had a record player and you had those dining room chairs that you placed along the side of the living room, and you took the furniture out from the living room, or if you had it in your basement, but you had all kind of odd chairs. Neighbors would bring their chairs over, kitchenette, chairs, those classic ones with the little steel ones that had the 3 little bars in the middle, the diner, high back, all kind of chairs. Man, I got a whole house full of chairs here. And you had a record player, right? And with the record player, it wasn't anything special. There was always that house that had the bigger speakers and something more powerful, but the sound sounded good the more bodies that were there, even with the cheapest record players. With the record players, way back in the day, it was more about fellowshipping. It wasn't about, well, we have the top of the line DJ equipment. And no, it was about the fellowship. And so we'd have people in that particular house cook food. And then we'd have other people bring food. What you gonna bring, girl? Those were the days when culture kept us together. And so we didn't care about, well, it's like a club in here. No, you put a red light bulb up. The kitchen light kind of lit everything else up even more. It's a basement or whatever have you. Everybody knew everybody. You didn't have to look over your shoulder when people went to the bathroom, when they said, I don't want to leave the party, but I want to go in one of them rooms and just lay down for a little bit. It could have been cold. Even if the person didn't know another person, but they knew there was a common friend, they didn't mind getting a ride home when they didn't get a ride. You didn't have to call no taxi, no cab. Because when you got there, you got to know people. It's like, yeah, they're cool. Go on and ride with them. Take them home. Everybody went back with plates. Actually, like paper plates sometime, and they had the foil over it and stacked up. There might have been another person who wanted to come, but they had the flu. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to bring this for Cheryl now. And you have 2 or 3 aluminum foil, paper plates stacked up. Sometimes if you tilted a little bit, some of the sauce would come on and fall on the floor. Don't worry about that, girl. I'll wipe that up. Y'all get home safe, and you call me when you get home. You know what I mean? Those days. And it didn't matter if you didn't have 2 turntables and a mixer, because when the song went off, everybody stopped dancing and they were smiling with each other. Boy, that was a good one. And they played a song over, and it could play 4 or 5 times. It was about, oh yeah, you have to have a full collection of music, because you know what? Everybody bought their records. And this is how sometimes you ended up with 2 and 3 of the same records. Like, I got one Marvin Gaye, let's get it on, but I got 2 more over here. Then you get the phone call. Did I leave my Marvin Gaye over there? Yeah, come on over later on when you can, or I'll drop it off for you. Everybody ate good. Nobody worried about the food. Anybody put anything in the food. You didn't worry if anybody was going to steal something from inside your house. There was no envy. And yeah, we had, envious people back then, but not to the degree that it is now. You got wives trying to kill husbands. You got wives who don't even want their husbands. You got people who are moving in on people's wives, and plastic people mad and jealous of what you have, or even what you don't have. If you have a little more than them, you both might be dirt poor and both sitting on the curb, but because you got 2 nickels to rub together and they got nothing but lint, they hate you now. What the hell is going on in the world today? Our culture has been hijacked. Therefore, the love, because see, the culture was the conduit for the love. You see what I mean? Just like, okay, how are you going to make electricity come in your house without wire? So the culture was like the wire that would bring the charge. The culture is the thread that held us together, the garment of our life together. Because you know what? If you were humming a song on a bus stop, right, and the next person heard it, oh, I love that song. Boy, the Ohio players are something else. Fire, doom, 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 doom. Got me burning, doom, doom, doom. Doom, doom, doom. Look, I can't sing worth a lick, but you know what? That's not stopping me from grooving to those songs. I remember, I think it was 1974 when that came out, right? And I was 11 years old, and I was at grown folks' parties. Not anything lewd or whatever. I just happened to be there because we could have parties, and the kids were there, and y'all go down, you go on up in that room and play, or you go here, and I could run around. We could have run around with them and even dance. Get it, Lance, get it. But it was nothing nasty. It wasn't nothing bad. And even the music was, it had double meaning when it was real adult. Doom, 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 nice and easy. Ooh, how you please me. You got a love that's really real. Gotta love. Remember that song? Do it, bear. And so my mother used to play the song. I would play the song, and she's like, yeah, do it. Take out the garbage. Like, do it, do your chores. I'm thinking it's like a chore song. You know what I mean? And they said nice and easy. I didn't know what they meant. Oh, but what a sexual song that was. Even the song, Let's Get It On. You know, let's get it on. I thought there were two guys getting ready to fight. I didn't know it was a man or a woman getting ready to do something else that started with the F word, right? No, I'm not trying to be nasty, but it was good, clean fun. And that's what it was a beautiful time, beautiful thing. We had snowball fights. We played marbles. We played board games, Monopoly, Trouble, Operation. We played ball. We would go out there and play. I wasn't like some great football player, but I was fast. I'd knock people down, but I wasn't good with the arm because my shoulder was all jacked up. But I was good. Couldn't play basketball with a lick, but while we played, we laughed with each other. You know, softball, I was there. I wasn't even too good at softball. I can hit it every now and then, but I'd swing and close my eyes and knock it out the park or swing and miss. But when it came time to little boxing and weightlifting, whatever, stoops, in a front porch, maybe somewhere else. But it was, man, let's hang on the stoop. We can hang out all night and talk and say jokes and stories, and other people go by. A girl we don't know goes by. Hi, how you doing? What's your name? So-and-so. She might have been some chick with a nice body from down south. You never see her again. You might see her at the supermarket the next day and she's gone. Whatever happened to that girl? Oh, she went back home to South Carolina. Everything seemed to be more innocent. Even the grittiest of Times Square in New York City, when I used to slip away from then in my tweens and early teens, it was dangerous down there, but it had a wholesomeness to it. There was a decency to it. Of course, they didn't have as many pedophiles running around as now. They would have tried me, but you know what? They would have got a swift kick to Uncle Jesse's nuts. Seriously. But there was a love. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where's the love? Where's the culture? The culture has been destroyed. And we've been presented with something else that is fraudulent, that is a knockoff, that is fake, that is GMO. The beats and the frequency is different. It's been infused with something else because we're not coming together in the music and in the movies as we used to. The so-called blaxploitation movies. We would all go to see them. Even if they weren't big hits for the world, that was part of us. And the way we dressed, we look back at it now, the bell bottoms, the stack heels, the print shirts, the big afros. I'm not laughing at no big afro. If I wasn't bald, I would have a big afro. That's us. You can't wear no afro up in the daggone corporate world right now, big, because it's you. It's black. It makes a statement and it shows that you're not submissive. These chicks that wear blonde hair and straighten it out. I'm not hating on you. I love my sisters, but to white folks, it's a sign of submission. She's trying to change herself. Our sense of pride is gone. Not all of us, but some of us. But too many of us, we're so quick to want to wave the red flag and just say, listen, we tap out too quick. We give up too quick. We don't defend our culture. We don't defend our practices. Okay, if you were born in America, you have certain practices and things that you did. If you were born in the motherland and you had certain things that you did, and even over there, they're giving it up. In the motherland, they'll give you a European name. What's your name? My name is Joseph. Come on, man. What is the name you were born with? But like it's a shame, and it's encouraged by the children that you don't use that native name. They're messing with the culture. They're messing with the pride that we have. So we need to consciously restore ourselves, consciously bring back the good music. And when we do have entertainers and people who are artists who make music that are a strong thread that bind us together, we need to support them. And they need to not jump ship when someone else who doesn't look like them waves around a little more money. Because you see, even if I get 25% of the 100% that you're trying to give me, my people got me. This is something that you cannot buy. This is something I'm not looking to sell. My culture, my talent, the things that pull us together. Why is it that when you play old Jamaican songs, even people who were born in America, they feel it? Even over here, they rock to old reggae music. Bob Marley, they feel it. They don't feel this other stuff. Like I said, for me to eat is GMO chicken, GMO this, GMO that. Even the fruits don't taste like anything. And boy, do they have some good old fruits over here in the motherland. Taste that you would never, even the Caribbean food, fruits don't even taste like over here. That soil there that can grow something serious. Right? So my quest with Lancescurv.com. It's always been, but it's more so a personal thing. I want to bring back and preserve our culture. I'm not competing with any corporate entity on who I am. Who you are cannot be manufactured or duplicated, and they know that. So be yourself, be the authentic thing, be the real thing. Sing the songs even if you can't really sing it. Beautiful thing when I would hear people, at the party sometime, right? And they would cut the volume down on certain songs so we can just bond together with our off-key behinds. It wasn't about being off-key. When you hear them dogs out there howling, ooh, one cross town, one 3 blocks over, and they talking to each other, they don't care. They, ooh, and you see, if you ever see them do that at night, they look at each other like they smile. Ooh, we enjoying ourselves. So you see black folks at the party, man. Doom, 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 doom. Before I let go, everybody gets their butt up off the seat. Then I saw a lady in a wheelchair get up and hop like 3 times and sit her behind back down. But for a second, when she couldn't even walk, that spirit hit her. The culture hit her. It's a way for us, no matter where we are in the world, to come back home. Back in the day, we had people in the Vietnam War, and all they had was that transistor radio to hear the classic tunes that they jammed to earlier on in their life. They might have been 18, 19, 20 years old, but that was a connection that they had. They might have met other soldiers, other Marines, other people in the service that came from different states, but because they had culture, they would smile with each other, and they would hear the songs that brought them together. What brings us together now? What is bringing us together now when we have so much murder and hate and devious people against each other, hating each other for the white man's trinkets? We don't want those things. At least I know I don't want them. I want to go back to the days of handmade jewelry. I want to go back to the days of red, black, and green Afro picks in your hair. And even though I'm bald by choice and prefer that, I'll just put the pick in the back of my head and take some duct tape and have it in my head pointed up with the fist in the air. It might look retarded, but it makes a hell of a statement. I want to go back to the days of red, black, and green wristbands, the kind that you use to wipe your head or the sweat off your head when you're out there playing. Red, black, and green, right? Remember that? I want to go back to the days of rolling up one pants leg, or your right pants leg or your left pant leg. It didn't mean that you were in some gang. You just did it to be cool, to show off those tube socks. Remember tube socks? Let's go back to the days of tube socks. Let's go back to the days of 2 sneakers, Converse and Pro Keds, and maybe PF Flyers if you're old enough, or maybe Skips if you couldn't afford it from the store. It was simple back then. It's a simpler time when we had culture and we had more love for each other. We would speak to each other in our so-called neighborhoods and communities, rather. It was just downright paradise. And I remember that. I remember being with my father on 152nd Street in Broadway, where he had his shop. And it was on the south east corner, not on the corner, but it was a laundromat. It was a numbers joint that was like a restaurant, and he had his little small shop. He kept his machines there. And here I am with him, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old in Manhattan. And of course, we lived down the block on 152nd Street between Amsterdam and St. Nick, right where Convent Avenue began, 454 West 152nd Street, apartment 54. And all we did when we went home, when we lived there, right, when I was a little kid before we moved in September of 1968 from Manhattan out to Queens, right? And even though we moved to Queens, I had 2 neighborhoods because I grew up in Manhattan as well as Queens. Because when I would come to the jobs with my father when I was young in the summertime or on the weekend, and my parents were together, but I couldn't leave school or on a school night go out there with them, right? Or if I went with my mother and she's singing and rehearsing and doing different things, I had a taste of the culture back then. That's why my foot is rooted in that stuff. That's why my range is expanded. I wasn't some little kid that was just tossed away. I was absorbing real culture. So it hurts me to my heart to see that things have degraded into what it is now. And that's why I say, let's bring back the culture. Let's bring back the strong bond of culture, because they knew in this war on our minds, as a precursor to destroying us, they had to destroy the culture. So let's bring that back and keep them out of our practices. Let's find some artists to physically go to and support. Let's have our own radio stations. Let's have our own newspapers. Everything we have has been hijacked. Why? We had Black News. We had the McCreary Report. We had Gil Noble. We had Tony Brown's Journal. We had Like It Is. We had Soul Train. Maybe Soul Train's still around. I'm not sure because I don't watch TV anymore. But we used to get up on a Saturday morning before we go to the avenue to go shopping. If we were to go shopping, maybe, those rare occasions when we were going to a party and we said, we want to get something new to wear. And the teenagers, older teenagers that had their cars, they were getting it ready. They were getting their hair cut. The barbershops were full. It was a festive time. Whether it was Jamaica, Queens, Richmond Hill, Queens, or Harlem or Washington Heights, I knew all of these places from long ago. So even though some people say, oh, man, you old, I'm actually in my mind older because I remember my level of consciousness came to me much earlier because my parents fed it into me and I was aware. There was a time when I was real young, all the cars had wings on them. Them old 1950-something cars that had wings, well, they might have been only 10 years old, 15 years old, but they were around. Don't you see 15-year-old vehicles around now? So that's the world. The old men who were the barbers talking to smack about, yeah, Joe Louis would beat Cassius Clay. I remember those days. The food and the giving so freely, even if you were broke. That's why the TV show, the sitcom Good Times was such a sweet thing. Even the Jeffersons who moved on up, okay? But Good Times, even if we weren't as poor as they were, it didn't matter. We had a love for each other. Yeah, you had the people who were uppity and snooty and sometimes, but most of them did not forget where they came from. They didn't throw off on those who had less. Even though we knew that they were affluent, when you were affluent, you had money, you were black back then, you weren't trying to wear your wealth on your sleeve. People were conservative. You didn't even know that these people had money. But you kind of sniffed it out. But they were dignified with it. Money didn't make them. They had grit. They had to work to get to where they were. They had culture. They had love. They had family. And family didn't mean just DNA sharers. Family was a deeper thing than that. It was a spiritual thing. And even people who were single, they felt as though they had family. Even people who have family these days don't feel like they have family. Isn't that sick? The culture and the love and the connectedness has strategically been removed like a controlled demolition when you see a building come down, like the inside job of the World Trade Center 911 back in 2001. Ain't that something? 20 years ago. Coming up on 20 years, not 10, but 20. They've been planning stuff on us for the longest time, and we accept it, and we submit to it, and they squeeze us, and we accept it. No, I'm not accepting it. I'm going to put out and be a colorful character for the world to pull people into our culture. Not for me, not because I want people to look at me a certain way. I just want to be a constant reminder of what was and what will be, not what can be, what will be. I'm going to bring back some symbols from the old days and recycle them and introduce the younger folks to it because they should hold on to these things. Yes, they're going to evolve it. They're going to have their present time that looks a little different than us. But things are way off the chain right now, and we don't realize it. That love in our heart, that connectedness in our spirit, and that overall love for us as a people. Even the differences that we have, even people that the world would say, hey, that brother over there kind of homely. When he put himself together and he had a good spirit, there was nobody more handsome than him. You see what I mean? Even the fat lady who was at the restaurant with the big arms that swung back and forth, when she put herself together and walked down the street, even on a Sunday morning, even if you weren't a Christian, wasn't nothing more beautiful than that. Because she knew when she was stepping that she's the queen. Now we tell and say we call ourselves the baddest bitch, and we go half naked on Instagram like that's really something. You had that busty woman with the small waistline and the curvaceous backside, and she showed a little bit of cleavage, not much, and driving the men crazy, and they still showed her respect. Beautiful thing. What happened to those days? Come on, black people, think. It's been hijacked. Are we going to let the enemy take it from us forever and lose our sense of selves forever? Are we going to bring back the future of good times that was reflected in our past? So many other people maintain their culture and they protect it, and they never forget who their ancestors are, the ones who have transitioned. They honor them. They honor them. They walk with them. You know why? Because they walk with them. See, we have our ancestors walking with us. That unseen spiritual energy that when we sing a song, we bring up a power, we bring up a strength. Come on now. For those of you who go to the gym, right? And you hear a certain song in your headphone, you have it on your playlist, or you hear it on the radio, it does something to you. A song that reminds you of your grandmother, your grandfather, your parents, whatever. That neighbor who just affected you, and you hear that song, it makes you lift more. It makes you run faster. It makes you not do certain things that you're not supposed to do because you remember their strength, because they're with you. Don't let people think, oh, that's a ghost and it's coming to get you. No, that's your family, and they're coming to undergird you, to strengthen you, to knock this world out. That's a GMO world and a cancer to your soul. I'm going to say so much about this, but I had to get this off my chest. Lancescurv out. Like, share, and subscribe. Go to Lancescurv.com. Go to the community forum and let's talk about things like this. We need to have this conversation, as opposed to saying we need to wake up. We need to come together. If we protect our culture, we won't even have to say that. We're going to find ourselves in that elevated state of togetherness, that elevated state of oneness. And you know what? There'll be no more categories that somebody else who doesn't look like us decides for us. Oh, I'm with Black Lives Matter. Oh, I'm with the LGBTQ community. Oh, I'm with the ADOS. Oh, I'm a Pan-Africanist. Oh, I'm a person with college education and you don't have no education, or I'm lighter and you're darker, so you're less than me, and I have European features and you got Negroid features, so I'm better than you. I drive a better car than you. Oh, you ain't nothing next to me. You from the West Coast and the East Coast and the this and the that. Where did this come from? Where did this come from? It wasn't like that. There was a time in my life that I could remember. Even the Muslims, the black Muslims, Elijah Muhammad and the Fruit of Islam, would see a sister going in a church that's based, a Christian church, and they'd run up and hold the door for the sister. Now, they never said, oh, they're going up in that Christian church with the white Jesus. And yeah, they would speak on that, but they respected the sisters. What happened to the love and respect that we have for our sisters that manufacture generation after generation of us and keep the world multiplied and full with us? What happened? They're the ones that we need to nurture, and we have a lot of them running off to the enemy now, looking down on us because we're not doing what we're supposed to do. Let's talk about it. Let's make songs about it. Let's make movies about it. Let's teach the kids through our artistic and creative ability. This is something that the enemy doesn't have, but he always comes to us and he purchases that powerful thing of creativity. I'm going to do my artwork with fervor unknown. I'm going to write my articles. I'm going to sit up right now. What time is it? 2:00 in the morning, and I'm hyped, and I had a long day today. It's in my spirit, and I'm going to drop every ounce of this thing before I leave this earth. I have no time to sit around and hate on nobody. I'm going to love on you in the way that I can, and I'm not looking for accolades. I'm not looking for greatness. I'm not looking for my name to be up on some big billboard, whatever have you. But I tell you this, you're going to remember who I am when I'm gone. And I'm not really going to be gone, because like that electricity that's circulating and circulating and circulating in that water that's in a cycle, coming down off the mountains because it rained. Now it's a river, and it's coming into the plants, and the plants, you eat the fruit and you throw the fruit down, and the seed goes and grows, but the water that was in it, you piss it out, or it evaporates and goes up and comes back down again. It's the cycle of life, and never forget that you're part of it. So you're never defeated. This world is perfectly balanced, the natural world that the Creator created, no matter what you call him, her, him, right? It's not a him thing. It's not a her thing. It's a both of our energy. But Christianity stripped that away. So you have all these men hanging around. I'm not trying to hang, fellas, I love you. I ain't trying to hang around on you. We hang around, and when we're hanging around, we're looking for a woman. I'm not saying being married and cheating. I'm just saying, as a man, when you're single and you're out there and you do a hard day's work, you're looking for a good woman. That's a natural thing. But they made it with the black man. It's unnatural, and straight black manhood is unacceptable in this world. And the support of our sisters is unacceptable in this world. If you support a black man, a straight black man, and you're looking for a black man, they don't like it. How dare they? They didn't bring us here. They didn't infuse a purpose in us, but we allowed them to mess us up. And the first step is taking our culture. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. I got to pull myself with this microphone because I got another 5 hours of work to do. I don't care if I have to sit up till 7 o'clock in the morning. Lancescurv out. Much love to you. Let me hear your comments on this one. And every time I feel it, I don't care if I get up in the middle of the night to pee and I see that mic and I got something to say, I don't care what time it is. I'm keeping my stuff with me 24/7. So as this stuff comes into me, it's not me. I'm just the conduit. I'm just the wire. The ancestors are talking through me. Because I don't know what the heck I said. You know what? I don't even know if I can repeat it all over again. Anyway, peace out and much love, y'all. On to the next one. Let me hear from you.
Don't forget, bring back that culture. Leave your comments. Download the Lancescurv app, Google Play Store, Apple Store, Amazon. Go to Lancescurv.com. Check out the artwork. Check out the forums. Add your comments. I need you to populate everything. I want to hear from you. If I got to sit here and do it single-handedly, I'm going to do it.